What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this I want to break down something very important about the markets that's coming out, that's causing the market to underperform right now. I want to talk about some big news that's coming out around the world that is very, very serious and very important. But before I do anything like this, let me just mention a few things. I'm firstly not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And then don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $500 and you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. Put in $25,000 or more and you're guaranteed 75 of them. Anyways, what's happening with the market and what's been happening is SPY has been coming down a bit despite the fact that the bank earnings were kind of so-so. I would say that some things were kind of good about them. That most of the banks beat on EPS and revenue, and also most had good guidance, especially like JP Morgan and also Wells Fargo. But a couple of them had kind of like mixed guidance. So I would say the bank earnings were more good than bad. But despite that, the market is still kind of dipping a bit. It's really struggling to get a bit of a bounce. And part of why this is happening is because of some huge news that just came out. So unfortunately, we're seeing lots of geopolitical tensions right now, and things are very tense, especially very, very close to Israel. It's very, very sad to hear any pieces of news about this. What's happening is there's a lot of fears right now about a potential attack on Israel, and this is because the supreme leader, quote unquote, at least that's like the term that's used to describe this man. I'm not saying anything high about him or anything like that. I'm just saying that that's the term that's being used. He said that this is the supreme leader of quote unquote Israel, Iran, the supreme leader of Iran, excuse me, guys. He said that Israel should be punished and will be punished for what's been going on. And, I really just don't want to pick any sides. I just think that nobody should be inciting violence against anyone. I really just hate the fact that innocent lives are going to be taken if anything were to happen like this, and innocent lives bear the biggest cost. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking. It's just horrendous how all these different countries are getting involved in this whole situation, and it's very terrible. I never want to see any children suffer, innocent children that had nothing to do with any war or anything like this. It's just horrendous. I mean, there's not really much else for me to say. So with this happening, with everything that's been going on, I mean, it's just very, very sad to hear anything like this. And with this potentially happening, the world is waiting right now to see if Iran really does end up attacking Israel. They're threatening that this is a real possibility. And if this were to happen, this is going to have a big effect on the US economy. The first most obvious thing is gas prices are going to start to skyrocket again, and then inflation is going to start to go up even more, and then the Fed is going to have to be incentivized to keep rates up for longer, for higher for longer, and then it's going to have a negative effect on the stock market, at least temporarily. Not for a super long term, just like a temporary drop could come, especially if this ends up happening. And any minute now, something could come out. So you want to be very open minded. We have to be very careful on the markets right now. We're dipping a little bit amidst this tension. If there is an attack, SPY is going to dip really hard initially, so just be prepared for that just to be safe. I really hope it doesn't happen. I don't want any innocent lives to perish. Nobody should be in a situation like this, but it is part of the reality of the situation. So for SPY, we have supported 512.5. We'll have to see if this holds. The last time we've been holding this many, many times for about 2.5 days before we saw a big rebound. And if we continue to hold this, we could attempt to rebound again. The chart is showing some weakness on a bit of a downtrend. We could even approach this support one more time. If we lose this, you're going to be watching 510.25 and then 508.5. Resistance, if it tries to come back up, watch 514 followed by 515, 516.5, 518, and then 520. As of right now, SPY is dipping a bit, looking kind of weak, approaching this support zone, so just be careful. Tesla is also being impacted by all this news because whatever happens involving inflation is going to involve the Fed, and whatever involves the Fed involves interest rates, which affects Tesla. There's also some negative news that came out from some downgrades, but Tesla's on showing some weakness now because of this news, so I want everyone to be very careful. I know I mentioned yesterday that there was a possibility of Tesla dipping and then trying to get a rebound, but so far, we've been just dipping. We're not really getting much of a rebound. The news is very serious. We'll see if anything happens, guys. So let's be very careful with this. And I wanted to give you guys like a warning about this, to just be prepared for anything at this point. Tesla's dipping a little bit. Our key support's at 170.5. We'll see how well it holds around 171.5 as well. But 170.5 is strongest support. The resistance currently at the 172s, like around 172.5, around that zone. And then above that, we have 174. That's the high of the day, followed by 175 as resistance, and then 177.6. Tesla's dipping a little bit, especially with the market. We'll see what happens with this whole very, very tense situation that's going on right now. And I just really hate to hear anything like this. I really hope that nothing horrendous happens. But it is what it is. We have to just continue forward nonetheless. For Nvda, we've lost the support right here at 892. So we're going to easily come down to about 885. This could drag us down a little bit lower. And then if we lose that, watch for 877. To get back to bullish, we want to get back above 900, but we're kind of rejecting right now. The market's kind of dipping amidst this news, so just be careful. QQQ is getting dragged down thanks to this. We're currently barely just under 440. Our next critical support is going to be closer to 438, so we could see a little bit more downside. But watch 440 as resistance. We'll see if this thing could try to get reclaimed up there. So give it some time, but just know that right now QQQ is on a bit of a downtrend. Could dip a little bit more. There's a lot of tensions around the world. Aapl was pumping very nicely. We were expecting a pump. See, Aapl was doing what the market should have done, get this nice pump. But instead, now that Aapl went all the way up to this 178 resistance, we're coming back down to 176.5. That's going to be our support. If we lose that, if we lose 176 flat as well, watch 175, then 174, that's the support from the pre-market. If that breaks, 172 is coming. For resistance, watch 176.5 and then 177.5 to 178. Overall, Aapl is dipping just a little bit. The market's showing some weakness right now. So we're just going to continue to monitor this situation. So I want you guys to be very open-minded on a day like this. I know, we had different expectations yesterday, but things could change overnight in the markets, which is why we have to be very adaptive. And with this news coming out, please keep this in the back of your mind. Keep, preparation open, do whatever you have to do, and just know that at any given moment, something could happen. And if it does happen, expect a big move in the stock market. I hope nothing horrendous happens. I'm hoping that this is just a threat and we just kind of move on. I hope that things don't escalate too much. And the last thing I want to hear about is more innocent lives being lost. It's very, very horrible news. So it is what it is, guys. Let's just try to be positive. Let's be optimistic. Let's hope that nothing horrendous happens, and we'll see how things go. If something does happen, the market's going to make a big move, likely to the downside initially. So please be prepared for that. Please be mindful and do what's best for your own portfolios. I want to appreciate everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's do whatever is necessary, and let's just be prepared for what's about to come. Okay, so thank you for listening. This is why the market looks a little bit lackluster. This is some very, very huge news. It's very serious. And I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours for another update. We'll see how things look for the situation by then. Thank you for listening again, and peace out.